Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm Miss Heyman. I teach English and coordinate our TA Talk series with our TA Talks team. Mr. Knox, Miss Hines, Miss Heffler, and Mr. Maloney. If you're interested in giving a talk, you can contact me or Mr. Knox. The TA Talks tradition began last September with Senior Teddy Cohen's speech about his dyslexia. Last year, 34 of you gave TA Talks and 27 of you introduced those TA Talkers. Students told stories about art, anxiety, adoption, football, friendship, losing a loved one, summer camp, and getting into college when no one in their family had done it before. Faculty and staff talked about the tango, about being an active duty soldier, about having their parents decide one career path for them, and what they really wanted was another, and about why Jim Henson, who created Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy, is a national treasure. One ninth grader talked about what it was like to have her heart stop for 5 minutes before it started again. And Chef Doug and Mr. Rando shared their salsa verde and croquette recipe with us, which we sampled later that day in the dining hall. There's magic in these talks, and we make it together. For 20 minutes each Wednesday, we gather, we listen, we learn. All eyes are on the student or faculty member game enough and brave enough to get up on stage and tell us something meaningful about themselves. It takes courage to get up here, and it especially takes courage if you are the first TA talker of the year or the person introducing them. So on that note, please welcome Ms. Feliciano to the stage as she introduces today's speaker.
It is my honor to introduce our TA Talk speaker today. I met Lyndsay during the first week of school her freshman year. Like many of you in this theater, she was brand new to Thayer. She walked into my study hall and lit up the room with her personality, her humor, and her kindness. Since that day, I have watched Lyndsay grow and take risks as she spread her wings into different parts of the Thayer community. As a junior, Lyndsay has accomplished so many things at Thayer. She is a yearbook editor, student government vice president, student director of the fall musical, lead tour guide, and curator of the Thayer Academy Outfits of the Day Instagram account. Wow. She is a diligent student, a thoughtful and loyal friend, and an incredible human being. If you have the pleasure of knowing Lyndsay, you already know how lucky you are. For those of you who don't know Lyndsay, I am thrilled to introduce her to you now. Everyone, please welcome Lyndsay Mingolelli to the stage.
Well, good morning. I would like you all to take a look around. To your left, to your right, in front of you, behind you, and look how folks are sitting. Are their arms crossed, their legs folded? Are they slouching or sitting upright? Now keep those observations in mind while I invite you all to fix your posture. Sit up straight, uncross your arms, and take a deep breath. Great, okay. My old tendency, especially when I was a freshman and sat up here, was to kind of squirm in my seat. I'd shake my leg, crack my knuckles, or play with my hair in a way that made the people sitting behind me frustrated over their lack of visibility to the stage. Now, my squirming didn't bother me, except the people behind me, but what it did was make me seem nervous or uncomfortable to others. We all start somewhere. Perhaps you started here in 5th grade, or one of 4 children that have roamed these halls with a mom in admissions, a brother, and a sister who runs marathons. I see you, Luke and Dylan. Or maybe you graduated here in 2012 and came right back after graduating from Holy Cross. Some would say to teach math, others say because he's Mr. Thayer, and people, perhaps Mr. Keogh among them, tend to go where the glory is. Yup, everyone starts their journey at different places and different times. My TA experience started 3 years ago today in the same seat I just sat in. I sat here in this shady corner, separated from my freshman girl pack, terrified and on the verge of tears. As a new to Thayer freshman, I was intimidated by how well people appeared to know each other from the middle school. I had just arrived from a small Catholic school, 28 kids in my grade total. A little different from the size of Thayer's freshman class, which this year is 130. In Maine, I would flatten my back against the brick walls as massive football players and scary seniors paraded these halls. I'd watch from the sidelines as everyone appeared like they knew where to go, fitting perfectly into their groups at their lunch table or having a person who they walked to class with. Everyone seemed like a perfect piece of a Thayer puzzle, a puzzle into which I did not fit. By mid-October, after yet another day of defeat, I reluctantly told my mom that everyone seemed to fit in but me. She grabbed my hand, looked me in the eyes, and said, "Just smile, Lyndsay. Smile and fake it till you make it." At first, I didn't know what this meant. Like, fake, as in lie, and make. Make what? She told me that faking it till you make it basically means looking confident, even if you don't yet truly feel it on the inside. Meaning not to slouch, fiddle with your hair, or sit in a shady corner. Why show you're afraid when you can just pretend to be confident? And perhaps, through pretending, actually eventually becoming confident.
What do you do on those days that you don't feel that confident or fearless or powerful enough to get out there?
Pretend.
Fake it?
Yeah.
Until we make it?
I mean, why not? It's either that or cry myself to sleep. Who wants to do that? You wake up with puffy eyes the next day. That's a waste of tears.
So, this is exactly what I did. I battled with myself every day, saying I could when I felt like I couldn't, and doing even when I didn't want to. I sat in the front row of my classes, joined the fall production of Mamma Mia, joined student government, and made the bestest friends. At the end of my 9th grade year, I wrote my stand speech on how I stood for disco balls, saying, "Life is like a dance floor, constantly moving, chaotic, and sometimes out of control." Right here in Massachusetts, the disco ball was created in the late 60s, and its purpose, and still is to be seen for miles. We put disco balls in the middle of the dance floor to shine. Disco balls reflect light onto others so they too can light up. Every day, I try to live my life by being a disco ball. After my rough adjustment freshman year, I thought no one else should go through what I went through. So, I vowed to be the person that I wish I had back then. Someone like a disco ball. I did all of this with a tiny voice in the back of my head doubting me. I'm sure you guys know what voice I'm talking about.
You're not good enough.
Fake confidence can become real confidence.
You don't belong here.
Just fake it till you make it.
You can't just get up there in front of all those people.
We need confidence to succeed. Let me ask you all a question. Why is confidence important? It's important because having a fair amount of confidence is an essential part of our daily lives. From meeting new people, to playing sports, to even giving a TA talk, you need confidence to succeed. So, yes, having confidence is an important quality to have. But how do you gain confidence? Psychologist Amy Cuddy from Harvard University says that just 2 minutes of a high power pose can increase testosterone, the dominance hormone, and lower cortisol, the stress hormone, creating confidence. In a low power pose, we cross our legs and fold our arms. We are uncomfortable. We make ourselves appear small. But if we sit up straight, uncross our arms, and look up, we make ourselves appear big and strong. We appear more confident. See, I would be lying to you all right now if I didn't admit I am nervous. I mean, I'm standing in front of you all. It's the first week of school. I have A-push after this. I have a lot going on right now. And doesn't everyone? Don't you? Especially in this first full week of school. Come on, guys. To shake off those new school year jitters, let's all stand up. And for 30 seconds, we are all going to power pose. If you need some inspiration, your peers here, stand up, stand up. Your peers will give you some inspiration. Stand up, power pose. Okay, power. Okay, thanks guys. Round of applause. See, wasn't that fun? Although Cuddy's findings have been debated in her recent years, her tactic has definitely worked for me. Indeed, the mind is a very powerful thing. And as you just saw from looking around at your peers, power poses come in all different shapes and sizes. Power poses, or for that matter, lack of power poses, are around us at all times. People are in stances of high confidence and low confidence at all times. So perhaps the power pose we just did wasn't for you. Maybe there are other techniques you could use to generate, gather, and build your confidence too. Here are some examples of techniques from several members of our community, sharing their moments of pride in their true, authentic selves. Miss Lily, science department head by day and boxer by night, Miss Lily's power pose shows her true confidence after winning her first ever boxing match. How sick is this? Woo! Miss Miranda, a secret yoga enthusiast, says confidence is all about practice. In wrestling, he tells other kids to master a move, you have to practice it 10,000 times. And once you've done so, you will be able to execute it against almost any opponent. After practicing his pose 10,000 times, Mr. Rando is now calm, confident, and collected. Who knew? Max, Drew, Mason, and Quinn's pose shows their true confidence in not only themselves, but their rather sharp first aid fits. And lastly, Mr. and Mrs. Wortman. Now, this isn't a physical pose, but a mantra that they live by. Lead with love is tattooed on each of their arms and is meant to signify putting your best foot forward in difficult situations. Something to keep in mind when we are nervous, intimidated, or put in circumstances that we do not want to do. Lead with love helps remind us what goals and morals we have when carrying out a task. So, there are so many ways to feel confident. From power posing to motivational tattoos, everyone has their own way of making themselves feel confident. Now that you know what makes you feel confident, go out and use it in an interview, make new friends, or simply raise your hand in class. Remember, we all start somewhere. Whether that be at the back of the CFA, to new students here today, everyone starts their thayer journey in different places in different times. If you think about where you are sitting now and what has gotten you to your seat, this would include an application, an essay, and an interview. But what about those long repeats you had to run? The speeches you had to hear, and the classes you had to challenge yourself with? What about those moments when you felt like giving up, but you didn't? Because if you did give up, you wouldn't be sitting where you are today. I say this because when I felt like I didn't belong in my seat, I wish someone would have told me to look at the bigger picture. All the things I did to get me right here, on this stage, in front of you all. On that note, I leave you all with this. As we enter this new school year, be the person that makes the shy kid in your English class laugh. Be confident in yourself, even when you don't feel it. Lead with love when times get tough. And finally, be a disco ball that lights up the room, because sometimes we all just don't know how much someone needs it. Thank you.